Selection of wine, beer, and liquor. Doe's Eat Place open Tuesday through Thursday 5 to 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Follow them on Facebook for more upcoming features and events. Call 479-784-9111 for Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street in Fort Smith.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, you're listening to ESPN 95.3.
PRX Paris Fort Smith.
Brazil with a rebound. Outlet to Acuff. Ahead to Thomas to the rim. Malik lays it in. Already the speed and quickness of Arkansas on display. Darius drives the right side behind the back of the elbow. Step back. Two on the way, and it's good. Now Thomas steals the ball. Nick with a steal ahead to Richmond and Philly with a hard one-handed jam to make it 63-40. Wow, Billy threw that one down, didn't he?
It's teed up, Taco. They teed them both up. We are told both coaches got teed up.
That wasn't my team. Sometimes this happens. You miss 12, 15 layups, like maybe in the first half. You have a chance to keep it close. I think we shot 40% from the line. Their will was stronger than our will, and they were big, and they were good. They were better than us.
Florida wins it 111-77.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Produced by Colton Woodard with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft. This is the Morning Rush.
You know, a lot of times on Sunday or Monday morning, I'll go rewatch a good chunk of a football, basketball, or baseball game. But, Tommy, I did not subject myself to that following a 111-77 loss this week. And that was quite rough for the Arkansas Razorbacks in Gainesville, a place that has not been kind to them before. It was not kind of them Saturday night with College game day in town.
I hope they burn the tape, and I hope the team doesn't watch it. I mean, there's just, to me, what do you learn from that? I mean, honestly, there's probably not much of a game like that. So burn the tape, move on to Texas, and we'll see what happens Wednesday night as we get going here on the Hot Take Monday. Hot Take Monday brought to you today by the Fence Man. 782-3936 is the number. They're the custom fence builders in our area, and the Fence Man can take care of any custom gating or fencing project you got. 782-3936, the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. I just don't know what you could learn out of this game that's positive. So I don't know if I'd spend a lot of time with my team even breaking down this film.
So positive-wise, I'll start there because it's going to be an overly negative show today when you lose by 34 typically. It's Billy Richmond, another 20-plus point performance. He was outstanding in the first half. That really kept Arkansas at arm's length, and then Florida just piled it on in the second half. He goes 9 of 17, 22 points, knocked down all 4 of his free throws. Anyone else want to find a positive in this game?
Crickets.
Anyone? Bueller?
Yeah. You don't have to play him again.
Yeah,
you don't play Florida
there
again.
There you go. Well, you might get him
positive.
in depending on Arkansas right now is 3rd in the SEC. Depending on how things shake out this week, you could play them in the SEC tournament semifinals. I don't think that Arkansas is going to have to play on Thursday. I tend to think they're going to win at least one this week, and it's going to shake out where the Razorbacks are a top 4 seed heading into the SEC tournament. But I could be proven wrong as of next week. That's a positive. But the overarching storyline to me, and we talked about it on Saturday night on Hog Reaction, is you're in a different weight class. There is one team in the Southeastern Conference that is competing for the national championship, and it's the team you played Saturday night. Arkansas is not a Final Four team. I know people, they latch on to the offense, and they latch on to the SEC Player of the Year, Darius Acuff. Who is that? And I know Houck had a really good game Saturday night. Philon hit that game winner, but I think Darius's body of work is ultimately going to lend him that SEC Player of the Year award. That's just who Arkansas is relative. You're not a bad basketball team. You're the 20th ranked team in the country. And Florida, who has dominated the month of February with wins against Alabama, at Texas A&M and Georgia, Kentucky, and at Texas, including you on Saturday night. They're the hottest team potentially in college basketball, or arguably, and you just we're outclassed Saturday night. It's plain and simple.
Yeah, and we feared this going in. I never thought it'd be 34. Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be around the line or maybe 15 points, and Florida would slightly cover. I never dreamed, even with a short bench, even with the depth issues, I never dreamed we'd be talking about a 34-point ass kicking.
Yeah.
Because that's what it turned out to be. You got your butt kicked up between your shoulder blades.
Mm-hmm. And to me, like, for weeks I said I didn't think that Arkansas was going to win this game. But like you just said, I had no idea it would be a 34-point drubbing. The reason that fans are a little disappointed this morning is not because you lost to the best team in the SEC on their home floor. It's the scoring margin. It's the fact that you just said you didn't even put up a fight for 30-plus minutes of that basketball game, and Florida did whatever they wanted. Their guards got by Darius and Malik over and over and over again. You were pounded on the glass by 20 rebounds. You didn't give an excessive amount of offensive rebounds, only 4 more than you got, but there are so many statistics that Arkansas either wins or competes in that they just weren't able to on Saturday. And Florida just came in waves. It's not like they just like from a depth standpoint, they only played 8 guys that actually played real minutes until the very end when the game was, again, decided at that point. So it's not like they had an excessive more guys than you did. Cal's got work to do. He knows that. You got 2 massive games this week with Texas trying to add to their tournament resume Wednesday night. Then Missouri, the revenge game when you go to Columbia this Saturday. Arkansas, again, still yet to lose back-to-back games this season. I expect that trend to continue, to be honest. I think they're going to pull it out against Texas in that standalone SEC men's game on Wednesday night. But it showcased Arkansas, again, that defensive issue that you continuously see. Even in wins, they're giving up 80, 90-plus, guys. And that's we keep coming back to that because it keeps showcasing itself in these big-time matchups.
Yeah, and Arkansas's got to, hopefully Wednesday night. That game's a 7 o'clock game. The building needs to be on fire that night. And I think it will be. It's Texas. It's senior night. It's your last chance to see ACUF in person for most fans. That building needs to be worth 7, 8, 10 points on Wednesday night. I like the start time. It's the only game in the SEC because of the women's tournament and their play earlier in the day. So you've got to find a way on Wednesday, and I think you're in that top 4 at that point. Needs to be a 2-0 week to really maximize your seeding opportunities, but go out, gain some confidence. Texas lost 2 games in the same week before last, lost 2 in a row. This is a team, though, that has won like 6 of the last 8 or some number like that. They've played better basketball. So this will not be the Texas team that's kind of based on the record. They're better than their record indicates for the year based on the way they played recently.
Yeah, no question.
I think those 2 losses back-to-back were Georgia, and Florida. So, I mean, losing to Florida obviously is there's no shame in that.
Chad in Clarksville has some contempt for Todd Golden after Saturday night. Again, the young up-and-coming coach, national champion, best team in the league, him and Cal going back and forth. That interaction was funny because it looked like, and y'all tell me if my vantage point is wrong. Please correct me.
You're right.
So Cal initially is mad at the refs about something. Then Golden starts chirping at him. Then Golden pulls his assistant in front of him.
Hold me back. Hold me back.
And then Cal, it's funny, Cal's getting held back by Coach Coleman and Coach Martin and some of the other guys, and they're going back and forth. Now, I personally like that. I like when coaches get at each other. That, to me, is entertainment. And that game needed some entertainment value, considering they just blew your doors off by 34. That's what I saw. Did you guys see anything different?
You're exactly right. That's exactly how it looked to me on TV. And I did watch some of that clip back earlier this past weekend on Sunday because I wanted to see if that's what it was. If my hatred towards Todd Golden was growing for no reason, and no, it's 100% valid. This guy is exactly what Chad and Clarksville said, those 2 words together, but that's what he is. He's chirping at our players. You're a coach. You just won a national championship. Shut up and coach your team. You have no reason to be chirping our players. You're up by 25 points at home. Just shut up. Insecure.
Yeah, it's part of the entertainment value.
No,
part of the entertainment value. Yeah, it is. I mean, that was maybe one of the most entertaining parts of the game because your play wasn't. So, yeah, I mean, when you have the drama and the pot boils over, these guys are competitors. All these things you're thinking about after the fact aren't thought of in the moment. If everyone thought it through, we wouldn't need prisons. All right, so people lose their cool. They say things they shouldn't in a moment. If everyone thought it through and had a well thought out agenda before they open their mouth, we wouldn't need sports radio probably.
But you're cool with coaches chirping
fortunately,
players?
we're able to convene here.
You're cool with
Huh?
coaches. You're cool with coaches chirping players. 'Cause that's what.
No,
Todd
I'm talking
Golden
about
was
when
doing.
I'm talking about what. Well, he was yelling back and forth at Cal. I mean, he may have been doing some chirping to play, but it goes on all the time. I mean, let's not act like Todd Golden invented this. I mean, this goes on all the time. And these guys are professionals. They're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to play. I mean, it just goes with the territory. You wouldn't have a problem with it in an NBA game, would you?
If a coach is chirping at the other players, I think they'd be a professional. That's just at the college level. I don't think that's a very good look. And I think Todd Golden is a good coach. He doesn't need to do that. That's just my opinion.
Trophy
Hog.
I agree with that.
Trophy Hog says, what was Todd Golden mad about? His guy nailed Pringle. So you had the TB flagrant foul. You had the Chinaloo. I think Chinaloo had one, and there was one other one that I'm blanking on. But that game was a physical game, and that's what you have to do. It kind of reminds me, like Alabama football for years under Saban was a physical team. They made officials put flags in their pocket or make them throw the flags. Florida, is a physical basketball team. They are physical down low. They are constantly, not necessarily all the time fouling or not. And the officials, again, there wasn't anything they did in that game that cost Arkansas. But you just got manhandled. And that was the whole idea is hey, could Nick Pringle and Malik Ewan and TB stack up against Condon and Chinaloo and Handgladen and Hauk? And they just didn't at all. It wasn't even close. I mean, Hauk had 22, Condon had 17, Chinaloo had 12. Handgladen didn't do that much, but from a rebounding standpoint, I mean, Chinaloo had 16 rebounds in this game. Now, he's going to be the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and at one point in time, he was being talked about as the SEC Player of the Year. Luckily, here's the other bright spot, Tommy. You brought this up earlier. You don't have to play Florida again. You will not see a front court like that in college basketball the rest of the year unless you play the Gators once again.
Nope.
That is a one-off. Dukes is really good because of Boozer. I forget their other 7+ footer. He's solid as a defensive guy. But the waves that they had when they've got three guys 6'9" or above on the floor at any given time. That it kind of reminded me of Cal's team back in 2014. You had, I think it was Trey Lyles that was playing the 3, and he was 6'9", 6'10". I mean, Golden's got that recipe figured out, and they're more of the front court team this year. But again, you don't have to play a front court like that. It's not what you wanted from a competition standpoint. But at the end of the day, if you win 1, maybe 2 games this week, you're right where you want to be. Like to get off that 5 line if you can, but as of Saturday, I don't know if you're going to be able to, depending on how the rest of the season shakes out.
Well, if you go on BetSaracen.com, you can do the Final Four 50% protection. You can back the Hogs to make the Final Four, and then if it doesn't work out, you get 50% of your bet back up to $50 in a free wager. So right now, BetSaracen's got that. So if you still think you've seen enough from the Hogs to maybe throw a little, throw 50 on the Hogs to make the Final Four, or throw 100 on it, you can get half that back right now with BetSaracen. So there's still a chance to do that. Also, the no sweat NBA bet, and also a 50% profit boost on college basketball and baseball right now. Would you bet on the Hogs to make the Final Four if you knew you'd get 50% of that back?
No,
spend
it somewhere else. It's a waste of money, and spend it on. Okay. There's multiple other things you can bet on the Bet Saracen app outside of Arkansas making the Final Four.
Yep.
It is a waste of money if you do that.
All right.
Okay. Would you?
Just wonder your thoughts on that as I was looking at the Bet Saracen. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'd put 100 on it to get half my money back if it didn't work out. But I need to see the odds. What I'm looking at here doesn't give me the odds. So am I getting 8-1? Am I getting 6-1? Am I getting, if it's even money? Hell no. But I'm sure there's some odds backing that right now too. So give me some odds. I need some odds.
All right, we're going to talk more about this Arkansas basketball game. The Razorbacks fall 111-77 on Saturday night in Gainesville. We'll get to some of the baseball stuff coming up. Do you take games 2 and 3 and end up winning the series against UT Arlington this weekend? Take a closer look at the SEC. We're talking about a little escalation, not necessarily fight between the Razorbacks and the Gators, but there was one in the Nuggets and Thunder game as Jalen Williams and Nikola Jokic were at each other's throats, which was entertainment value at its finest. What else? Oh, combine stuff and the Cardinals, what they're doing with sections 271 and 272 A lot of food involved, and some other MLB teams that are doing that as well. Plus Carson Beck getting booed at the NFL Combine, and Chad Baker-Mazara is no longer a USC Trojan. I think as of yesterday.
LinkedIn ready to go.
Yeah, LinkedIn ready to go. But let's get into baseball. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The 1-0. Swing, ground ball, scooped out third base. Great play. Phillips, the throw, gets New at first base. Texas Arlington win. That was 110 miles an hour off of Micah New's bat. Phillips with a step to his left made a lunging play. Took away what was awfully close to a game-tying base hit.
Here's the 2-1. Atwood swung on, skied to center, hit well. Going back is McAfee at the track, at the wall, and is gone. Camden Kojal with his second home run in as many days, and the Razorbacks lead it 3-0. Dygert's got to dig in. Here's the pitch, called strike 3. Fastball down in the zone. Dyger was frozen. 7 strikeouts for Colin Fisher, and the Mavericks are done.
Hopefully we learn from that as far as coming back and winning the series. I mean, I fully expected us to win the series, even though we lost Friday. And
This is the opening drive.
Shannon Dirks also mentioning the softball team this weekend that had a lot of success. We'll talk about that in our Hog Update. As far as the baseball team, success came a little later on in games 2 and 3. A slow start in game 1, didn't get a run until the 9th inning. How about that Dygert kid?
Yeah.
8 innings was tremendous for UT Arlington on Friday, and Arkansas, I guess there was 2 outs, 2 big hits with 2 outs. You felt like you might be able with a comeback win. Weren't able to get that on Friday night, and then Saturday and Sunday, not much of a game as the Razorbacks took it 9-0 and 11-1 in the closeout game. Tommy.
Yeah, and bounce back 1, 2, or 3 as you mentioned there. Little resolve. Hopefully this illness or whatever's been hampering this team is behind them now. We'll see how they respond this week, but they've still got to figure out a way to put the bat on the ball a little more consistently.
And I know Dave Van Horn a little frustrated with how they've been swinging the bat lately, and understandably so. What you did see in games 2 and 3 is Hunter Dietz getting going, and then also Colin Fisher, which he said, and I think Dave said he didn't have his best up, but still had 6 good innings.
He's been nailed.
He's been a really good. If that's your third guy, again, we had the conversation about would he potentially move up a day and replace Dietz, but Dietz kind of had himself quite an outing this weekend. Go ahead, Colton.
I think you're looking at maybe the first guy you might want to replace is Gabe Yackel, because since he's been here, he's not shown that he can go more than about 5 innings consistently, even against UTA, against these good teams. He is a great pitcher, and he's been super, super good coming out of the bullpen. Look, the first game on Friday was not a great showing by your offense. Your pitching has been good. It's going to be good for the entire season. It's not just an it's just baseball thing. It's the fact that baseball and college baseball, every single guy, every single team has one guy, whether it be their starting pitcher, whether it be their shortstop. You faced UTA's guy, went out there and threw 130 pitches. This guy wasn't falling, but you never made an adjustment, and I do hope that they get that fixed before we get SEC play going.
Well, Gackel initially gets up 2 runs, and I forget if those were earned or not in game 1, in the first inning of game 1, and then it's all of a sudden 4-0 in the 6th, and Arkansas fans are just looking confused in Baum Walker Stadium. That is I think a fair question to ask, being that he looked a lot better as a true freshman coming out of the pen. Thought he was going to be the main guy last year, didn't necessarily amount to that. I felt like in this 3rd season, okay, he's finally going to take that step as the true starter, and at least initially it hasn't been the case. Now, it's a long season, but you're not the only one that has suggested that.
Well, and the problem with that is they love to trail Gibbler off of Gackel because those two guys complement each other super, super well, and every time that Gibbler seems to be struggling, it's because Gackel had a good day. Those guys kind of go off and on of each other, so you do want to keep that battery kind of together the best that you can. But look, those guys are going to do well. I think it's going to be a good season for the baseball Hogs, but they do have to get those bats going eventually because every team in the SEC has guys like you saw on Friday for UTA, guys that can throw maybe not 130 pitches, but guys that can throw a complete game and have a bigger repertoire of pitches. Because that guy only threw 2 or 3, and you never made an adjustment.
Well, I heard Bubba made a comment, and he's right. Like, most of Arkansas's guys are pitching above 90 miles an hour, and when you play a guy, or really a pitching staff for that matter, like UT Arlington, it's not going to be the same caliber, same speed you face in SEC play. It is a little bit of adjustment. That does not necessarily excuse their performance on Friday for them to go not hitless but runless until the 9th inning. So that's That's the situation. Jordan in Green Forest, he agrees with you. He feels like Gabe should come out of the pen. He's always pitched better in that opinion.
Think
or
it's a
in his
mental
opinion.
thing. Think it's a
And
mental thing. It's
hopefully
all.
it figures it out because Arkansas has had consistency on Friday nights. Even Zach Root, first team All SEC last year. And I don't know if you'd put him in the same echelon as like Hagen Smith, Blaine Knight, Isaiah Campbell, and others. But
that you're so spoiled with all these starting pitchers too. You have to remember, not every guy that goes up there for the Razorbacks is going to be Superman every time he touches the ball.
Yeah, that's a good point. Nate says, Nate commented on your haircut. Tommy, did you used to get a haircut recently? He's asking if you got a fresh haircut.
I did.
Okay, well
got that lineup. Tommy,
I did.
That fade.
Little two on the side, a little longer on the top. Yes, I was needing either a haircut or a dog collar, one or the other.
Okay. Well, it's not getting as long as mine does when we get closer to November and whatnot. But how many times you get a haircut? What, every 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks?
Yeah, whenever I can get in. Try every 3 to 4, but
3 to 4.
It's usually 4 to 6.
Okay.
I'm twice a year.
Basketball's almost over. She'll be growing that.
Thanks for noticing. No one at my house has noticed. So I'm glad you noticed.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate Bentonville. And with high school basketball and college basketball coming to a close from a reffing standpoint, the facial hair is going to come out here within 3 weeks? A few more weeks?
Maybe. I don't know. That facial hair is starting to turn gray when it grows out, so I may have to avoid the facial hair.
No, just just for men like Zach. It's not that hard.
I'll ask his advice on that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Go that route.
All right, that's your opening drive. It's brought to you by Mock Legal Solutions with Fort Smith location, also in Salisal, right across from the courthouse. To better serve Sequoia and LaFleur counties, they handle family law matters. Also, Jackie has over 13 years of experience in car wrecks, slip and falls, dog bite cases, so she can work with the insurance companies to get you that check or your wreck check as well. And they understand that times are hard. You don't always have a $5,000 retainer to put down, so they work with you with a flat fee you understand, monthly payments you can afford, and we'll make it work for you. That's Mock Legal Solutions, 479-769-1505, or go to mocklegalsolutions.com.
Hog update when we come back. And to hear more from John Calipari, Dave Van Horn, next on the Morning Rush.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
I absolutely love your show. I can't listen to anything else on the drive to work in the morning other than the Morning Rush.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Serving the Fort Smith area for over 40 years, the Fence Man builds custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. Need automatic gates? The Fence Man does it. Need financing? You got it. 18-month financing is available. Get your free quote today at thefencemanar.com. Or call 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for. Only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH25 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Superstars Joe Klein and Pat Bradley for Arkansas's #1 sports app, Bet Saracen.
Joe, you know the main difference between Bet Saracen and those other guys?
Definitely. Easier to navigate. Always good parlays. Plus lots of fun choices. Like ping pong. Right there on the app.
But the real difference are those special promos.
Get $250 on us with your first $25 wager.
Gambling problem? Call 800-GAMBLER.
Happy it's over.
This is the Morning Rush.
Take your tax refund the extra mile with a road-ready certified pre-owned vehicle at Rath Auto Resources. We've been working around the clock to beef up our inventory, and we're proud to say this is our best, largest selection of road-ready certified pre-owned vehicles ever. With so many to choose from, price to sell, and back-to-back comprehensive warranty, there's no reason to settle for less. Come see why your friends and neighbors voted us the River Valley's #1 pre-owned car dealer, and see why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? you might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Winter has arrived, bringing frosty mornings, holiday travels, and unpredictable roads. That's why it's the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart. From top quality tires to expert service at competitive prices, we've got you covered. Visit our Fort Smith location at 9700 Highway 271 and let us prepare your vehicle for everything winter has in store. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Wyatt McIntyre sincerely asks for your vote to be Sebastian County Sheriff. Wyatt is Christian, Republican, and pro-Second Amendment. Wyatt believes in faith, family, and communication to keep people safe. 24 years of law enforcement experience, multiple leadership positions at the Sheriff's Office, currently Police Chief of Mansfield, Arkansas. Has lived in Sebastian County over half his life. Early voting begins February 17th until Election Day on March 3rd.
This is Wyatt McIntyre, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Wyatt McIntyre.
After wanting one for years, Kevin is finally enjoying his new hot tub.
This is the life.
He worked with Empower to help him get good at money, so now he can be a little bad.
Oh, no, not my phone.
Oh, Kevin. Kevin's phone may be in hot water, but his finances aren't. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Are you a middle-aged man feeling low on energy, struggling with weight gain, a decreased libido, or even battling depression? You don't have to feel this way any longer. Hi, this is Stephen Pittman, a licensed nurse practitioner and expert on testosterone replacement therapy. At Pittman TRT in Fort Smith, our priority is to restore your vitality and energy the way you felt in your 20s. No need to drive an hour or more.
Call Pittman TRT today at 479-274-1747 or check them out online at pittmantrt.com. Pittman TRT. Get back to feeling like your old self again.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Patton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
Olympic gold medalists, world record holders, NCAA champions, and more. Watch the greatest track and field athletes in the world compete in Fayetteville for the 2026 NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships, March 13th and 14th. Witness greatness as world-class athletes compete for an NCAA title right here on the world's fastest track located inside the Randall Tyson Indoor Track Center. Secure your tickets today at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Gage Wood, no hits him. Allen has a wide open man. It's Childs. He's loose. He scores. Childs, please.
Uncle Tommy loves the Razorbacks.
ARKNSAS.
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush.
It's, I could say there was this, there was that, there was some pushing and shoving, but you can't miss 12 layups and miss 60% of your free throws. We didn't move the ball like we'd been moving the ball. Their will to keep us from catching the ball, Darius, was stronger than our will to get open. I mean, yeah, they're denying, but this is not football. They can't hold you. So you got to get into the body and be stronger than they are to get yourself open. But it'll be a good lesson for us.
You heard Cal there on courtside with Cal, and I thought that was an underrated part of the game. And you had mentioned it leading up. And it's like, we're not letting this SEC player, candidate of the year kid, and Darius Acuff beat us Saturday. Well, that's exactly right. He goes 6 for 19. By his standards, not a great game, 17.6 assists. I mean, they had multiple guys on Darius all night long, and they were physical with him, from pressing him to doubling him on screams. He just never could really get going on Saturday night, Tommy.
We talked about the free shot for the Razorbacks, and a lot of ways it's a free shot for the Gators too. And you walked into an environment where their team knew a win would mean they could cut down the nets, which they did. They now have a share of the SEC regular season title, so they did that. But they had a free shot with a 2-game lead to go after a player like Acuff, to take chances on the defensive end. If it didn't work out, they had enough talent to overcome it, and everything they did came out right because they were the better team.
Yeah, and when you look at Arkansas from a shooting standpoint, it's like, hey, you got to make threes in this game. You heard Cal mention the free throws, which the Razorbacks were a putrid 13 of 24, but you only knocked down 4 threes. Now, 4 of 13 is not a terrible three-point shooting outing at 31%. It's not great by any stretch either, but Florida hit 8 of 19 at 42%. I think Clabshar hit
that kid is nailed.
Yeah, he hit 4 of them and was knocking down shots left and right, including that pull-up on TB. That's why, again, great defensive teams can fall back on their defense. Now, Florida had the defense and offense cooking. Arkansas doesn't have that defensive element to fall back on, and you saw it once again, unfortunately, Saturday night.
Yeah, so, again, I think you just wash this one off, forget about it as much as you can, and you just move on to Texas. There's no sense in dwelling on the past, and I'm not sure how much out of that game, as Cal said after the game, that wasn't my team. Well, it was. They just didn't play very well. But, hopefully he gets his team for the game on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, because they're going to need everything they got to make that work.
Well, I'll tell you, it did win on this weekend was the Arkansas women's basketball team.
The fans now will react. The Razorback players standing up off the bench. Archer dribbles out the last 3 seconds, and the losing streak is over. This one belongs to the Razorbacks, 70-41.
So dominating final home game of the season, their first SEC win of the year. Now, their season's probably going to end swiftly this week in Greenville. But at least to end on a high note, and for senior night in Budwalter Arena, and I know Coach Mayberry's daughter had 20-plus points in that one. It's nice to have that happen for a team that's just gone and gotten beaten and battered so many games this season.
Well, and rough start. There's a lot of questions about the resources at Arkansas compared to other schools in this league, and my understanding is they've got bottom 2 or 3 money, so you're getting those kind of results. But I guess the surprise in that victory wasn't just the win over Auburn, who only had 3 SEC wins. Ty, they won, what was it, 70-41? You said.
Points.
Didn't just win, one going away. Yeah,
rocked them in that game. Baseball team rocked them in games 2 and 3. Dave Van Horn, I know, happy to just get a series win this weekend. Here were his thoughts after the game.
Really, you look back at Friday, you give credit to their pitcher. Again, he did a tremendous job, and but we had our opportunities. We didn't take advantage of it. Hopefully, we learned from that. As far as coming back and winning the series, I mean, I fully expected us to win the series, even though we lost Friday. And
midweek matchup against Oral Roberts tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Colton, remind me, who do they play this weekend? I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
Oh, I didn't
Tommy,
look at the schedule.
I looked at it this morning, and now it escaped me. But go ahead.
Play Oral Roberts. So
no, I'm saying this weekend. You got that
Oral Roberts. So
Stetson.
Hang on, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Stetson. Yeah, Stetson. Correct.
Okay.
Smells good.
You got any thoughts on the game this weekend? Games, I should say. All right, I think we lost Tommy. All right, that is your Hog update this morning here on a Hot Take Monday. By the way, we hadn't mentioned this yet. Tommy's in D.C. He's got some things he's got to do for the Arkansas Broadcasters Association, so we don't have the best connection with him. What did you say earlier with what's going on in DC?
There's just a lot of stuff happening in D.C.
A lot of
right
stuff
now.
to the internet and various things, and the radio connection, everything else is not great. You back there, Tommy?
I am back. So, yeah, I think they commandeered my my bandwidth there for a minute. All right, that's the Hog Update brought to you. I want to remind you, we were talking about baseball, Stetson. The last thing I heard was Colton's good line there. It smells great. So, yeah, that's old school. That's old school cologne there in Stetson. Single-game tickets for baseball are available at ArkansasRazorbacks.com. So these midweek games right now are a great place to go get some of those single-game tickets. So go there and do that now. That's ArkansasRazorbacks.com, or go to SeatGeek, the official resale marketplace of the Arkansas Razorbacks.
All right, we've got our Morning Rush Daily question coming up in just a bit. Some Razorbacks made some headlines in the Combine. Taylon Green, Mike Washington, their 40 times broad jump, and some various other things that the Morning Rush crew would be dreadful at. So we'll get into some of that. Fernando Mendoza cheered, and then Carson Beck jeered, of all things. I don't know if I've ever seen that in the Combine before. That's what happened in Indianapolis this weekend. Other things to get into, including some SEC standings and where everything's at. Here on a Hot Take Monday, stay with us on the Morning Rush right here, ESPN Arkansas.
You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Like all I've done for 2 weeks is work on Carter Knox.
Steal by the Razorbacks. Knox to the other end and a throwdown.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Serving the Fort Smith area for over 40 years, the Fence Man builds custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. Need automatic gates? The Fence Man does it. Need financing? You got it. 18-month financing is available. Get your free quote today at thefencemanar.com. Or call 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for, only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH25 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Superstars Joe Klein and Pat Bradley for Arkansas's #1 sports app. That's Saracen.
Joe, you know the main difference between Bet Saracen and those other guys?
Definitely. Easier to navigate. Always good parlays. Plus lots of fun choices. Like ping pong. Right there on the app.
But the real difference are those special promos.
Get $250 on us with your first $25 wager.
Gambling problem? Call 800-GAMBLER.
And they were big, and they were good. They were better than us.
This is the Morning Rush.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Arkansas fans, get fired up at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for Tex-Mex and Arkansas Game Day. Catch Arkansas basketball games live on our big TV screens. And when you wear your Arkansas gear, score half-price apps and cheap taps. Enjoy complimentary chips and homemade salsa, fresh and made from scratch every day. Don't miss Joe's Mexican-inspired daily specials, fast, friendly service, and the best game day fun in town. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They're open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-2085. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-555-2085.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
We've seen it all. Recessions, tornadoes, even a global pandemic. But Hug Chevrolet GMC never closed its doors. We stuck with our community because they stuck with us. And through it all, one thing never changed. Our commitment to serve, support, and stay local. Hug Chevrolet GMC, built to last, just like the people we serve.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
That Social Morning Rush Daily Question.
All right, you men. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer to the best of your ability.
It's going to be a quick answer to an incredibly terrible, long question.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Check out Nate and Kristen's Place in Lowell online at carpatsocial.com.
Scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about Wednesday night's game at 6 o'clock against the Texas Longhorns? Is there a carryover? I guess that's really what I'm driving at. Is there a lag from Saturday night's game against Florida? You got the benefit of having one day later, one more day to prepare. Ty, are you worried because of the way things played out at Florida that there may be a hangover effect for Wednesday night's game?
I don't think so, because Arkansas has yet to lose back-to-back games this season. You're at home. It's Darius's final home game. I think the concern would be how much Texas needs this win. I still think Arkansas is going to handle their business and win Wednesday night. Don't necessarily have a stronger feeling about Saturday against the Missouri Tigers, but I don't know, like a 3 maybe. I think, again, I expected them to lose Saturday. Didn't really change my opinion that great. Now, I didn't expect them to get demolished. So I don't know if I'm that worried, to be honest, Tommy, about Wednesday. What about you?
I'm a 4 or 5, probably because of the lack of depth right now. And, we had a clip there about Coach working on Carter Knox. No indication when he'll be back, and you don't expect it to be this week. And I really don't think it'll be next week. You might be lucky to have him back the second weekend of the tournament if you're still playing ball. I just worry about the lack of depth. And a game like Saturday night where you still didn't clear the bench, even down 34, Sealy got in for 7 minutes. No one else got on the floor. I mean, I know it could have gotten worse, but Florida didn't clear their bench either, which you kind of forced your hand. But you didn't get to rest these guys any, and I just wonder a little bit about the fatigue and lack of depth, and that being the hangover more than anything.
What about you, Colton?
I think I'm with you guys. Not really too concerned because of the fact that I know that Florida is probably the worst matchup for you based on how you built your roster. Like you said, Tommy, you want to make sure these guys get back and get healthy. It is a quicker turnaround after you play Texas this week. You are an 11 a.m. game, I believe, in Como, so it's not really as much rest as you would like going into a game that you think that you should be able to go in there and win this Saturday against Missouri. But you do have to play Texas first, and I'm not really too concerned about that. Texas did play Florida a lot closer than we did. They had the advantage of playing there in Austin at their facility, but I'm not too concerned. Really, the thing that I had to think about is that I just don't want to see the same story being written next season, because it seems like that's all that Arkansas basketball has been the last 5 or 6 years, even with this resurgence of our program, is you get to a high point, you're almost to a pinnacle, and then you get beat by some really good big. So I'm just kind of tired of seeing the same story being written over and over again. And I know that Coach Cal has his ways. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Player development's not really his thing. He's obviously more about getting all these big studs and thoroughbreds in there to carry the load for him. But it would have been nice to see one of those guys off the bench come in there and give you some minutes, be able to be physical, and Arkansas just doesn't have that. So I'm concerned about that for the future, but for the rest of the season, you just got to hope that you avoid a team like Florida, again, that has a really dominant inside presence, because barbecue chicken's what it's going to be again.
So Nick Pringle is exhausted his eligibility. At least I think he has. I don't know what the NCAA is going to do concerning any player's eligibility. Malik Ewan still has either a year or two left, I'm forgetting. But that's going to be, I would think, a primary target for Cal and the staff, is to get some big men in the offseason, considering
money.
That's where Arkansas's weakness is right now. All right, that is your Cart Pass Social Morning Rush Daily Question. Number one place for indoor golf in Arkansas is at Cart Pass Social. Go to cartpasssocial.com. Click on the events tab. Christian Olsen, Nate Garahan, they've been doing it for over a year and a half now. Two Rogers boys, two Arkansas fans, and they love golf. And they wanted a place that they could play when it gets cold in Northwest Arkansas or it's raining. Well, you can always play at Cart Pass Social. Plus, you can host your event. It's BYOB, 122 Grant Place in Lowell, 479-487-3622, or go to cartpasssocial.com. So this weekend in Indianapolis, how about Mike Washington and Talon Green? Talon had himself a combine.
Let's go, Talon Green. Who crushed it. Woo! He is striding that out. 4, 3, 7.
We talk sometimes about guys not helping themselves or helping themselves at this event. You had 6 Razorbacks that were in attendance doing various things. Talon had the second fastest 40-yard time for a quarterback ever in the history of the NFL Combine, and his vertical and broad jump were all-time. Mike Washington had a 4.33, best of any running back there, actually tied Darren McFadden in his Combine in 2008. I don't know how much that's going to adjust their stock and boost it. I know it was very emotional for Mike, who was crying after, but I was happy to see those guys have success this weekend. Hopefully that helps them long-term when it comes to NFL-wise.
In all that, and you did, I think you mentioned there, Talon's vertical, which might have been better than the 4. Yeah, broke the record. Might have been better than the 4.37. So, I saw where Kuiper had him 7th on the board with quarterbacks. I don't know if that moves, but he didn't hurt himself. We'll put it that way. He did himself some favors in Indy.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
what's the
go ahead,
thing with
Milton.
Talon Green, guys? He's got all the tools. He has all the athletic ability. What's the thing that's holding him back? It's not his arm. It's not his ability to throw. It's all upstairs.
Turnovers.
Those 6 inches between his ears, the inability to make a decision. Of course, when he broke these records the other day, what was the first thing that everybody was talking about on the timeline? Everybody was trying to say. What was the discourse? Put the gloves
Why
on,
do we
buddy.
go 2-10?
Well, yeah, of course. You got these 2 guys that are record-breaking, players at the Combine. How could you possibly go 2-10? Terrible defense. That's how. But what's the first thing they said about Talon Green? Get the gloves on, buddy. Do the Matt Jones route. Switch over to receiver. I don't think he needs to do that. I wish and I hope that he gets put in a good position where he can learn to be a quarterback in a good system, because he has all the tools necessary. As for Mike, he's a 10-year back in this league.
He, again, was one of only 3 or 4 guys that I think went over 1,000 yards in the SEC. I guess his most compelling moment, the biggest moment from his career, was when he ran over an All-American and Michael Taft on his way to the end zone in the Texas game. Mike was not the problem why he went 2-10. I know that Memphis fumble hurt his, prior to that point, his only fumble of his college career. But I think, like you, that he could have success in the NFL, Colton.
Yeah, the turnovers are going to be something that Talon has to answer for. That's going to be one check mark on the wrong side of the ledger for him when he starts visiting with teams, private workouts. When they start watching the tape more in depth, which I'm sure they've already got a thick file on this guy. They're looking for a quarterback, but one thing that he's got to be in is in a system that he can resolve that, because if he gets turnover prone in practices and preseason games, he'll be cut pretty quick if he's not taken in the first couple of rounds.
He wasn't the only.
He's not going to be.
He wasn't the only quarterback chucking it around this weekend. You had guys like Carson Beck, who was getting booed by the pro Indiana Hoosiers crowd, and then also his counterpart in the national championship game, Fernando Mendoza.
Well, right now I'm unemployed. I have no job. So this is my job interview right now. And like everyone says, it's the most important job interview of your life. So right now I'm just trying to do everything to hopefully get employed in April 23rd.
What'd you say, Colton? He's ready to update that LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, get that LinkedIn ready to go. Brush it up. Make sure you have your resume good. You have all your proper references in there, your past work experience, and anything that you've currently been working on. Get those projects going. Get those listed. And you might as well pop the $30 a month for LinkedIn Gold so you get all the extra connections and you see where you stack up, for all the jobs that you're applying for.
He's utilized LinkedIn. I don't know if he's getting paid for that.
That's not for Mendoza. He's going to have a good career, I think. But, for guys like Chad Baker-Mazara, yeah.
That was, but by the way, Colton bringing that up, Chad Baker-Mazara is no longer a USC Trojan. That was announced as the former Auburn transfer with Eric Musselman. He had this weird deal. We'll get into more this weekend. But, Tommy, I don't know if you've ever utilized, I get on LinkedIn, or I guess what are the competitors? ZipRecruiter. There's one or two. What else am I missing?
That's kind of the biggest one. LinkedIn is really your social LinkedIn. Work, kind of crossover right there. ZipRecruiter is for actually hiring.
Your business social media place. Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't looked for a job in a while, so I'm not as familiar. I hear the ones on our station, so, but ZipRecruiter would be the one that advertises the most, so it probably comes to mind first.
I get on LinkedIn just to kind of see what's going on with friends and not necessarily just coworkers, but various things, what's going on in radio and whatnot. But I can't say that I've gotten on ZipRecruiter ever in my entire
Monster?
life.
Is that still one? Monster.com? That
sounds
rings
right.
A bell.
I feel like there's one more that I'm missing. There's a bigger
Indeed,
one.
That's a big job
okay,
one as well.
Indeed. Thank you.
But those are more like post your job, get your job.
Okay.
LinkedIn really is that crossover of social stuff.
Okay. Well, either way, he's going to have a job, most likely with the Las Vegas Raiders as the first overall pick, where, as we've seen in our Razorback fandom, where players' dreams go to die. And that organization, I think, is just a terrible place for any player, much less a quarterback. So I like that kid. I hope he's as happy and cheery as he is in college, but I'm guessing the next level playing with that team and that franchise is going to take out some of his joyfulness that we've seen on a daily and weekly basis here these last few months.
Well, if you're traveling like I am, you need the Hit That Line Now app. It is powered by Taco Bell. If you're on the road, like I'm in D.C. for a few days this week for some business, I can listen. I was listening Saturday, throughout the day in our post-game show on Saturday night. You can follow along and listening to Chuck and Bo this morning. I can listen to Ruskin and Zach. So no matter where I'm at, all our local shows are there. I can watch live on my phone. So it's a great thing to take along anywhere you're traveling. So if you're traveling for business or you just want it around the house, the phone's become your radio. It's the Hit That Line Now app. It is powered by Taco Bell.
We got this message on our YouTube channel from Ralph saying, when did Ty become so negative about Razorback Sports? It's starting to make me think I won't even watch this anymore. I don't think I said anything overly negative today. I didn't feel like that Arkansas was going to beat Florida. They didn't beat Florida. I've said for weeks I don't think Arkansas is a Final Four team. I think that was just solidified this weekend. What you're hoping is that somehow, some way, there's defense in there that you haven't seen this season. I do wonder. I got asked this yesterday, Tommy, and I thought it was actually a pretty good point. You know how Pringles had that back thing on the sidelines? Mm-hmm. Have you seen him put that on? Yeah. I wonder. We've talked about this with Darius. I wonder if there's more to that than anyone, because they haven't mentioned an injury for him. But if you watch the player in Tuscaloosa and you watch the player in Columbia and you watch the player this year, they're not the same. The athleticism's not there. The explosion's not there. I just wonder if there's something more to what he's dealing with as a college basketball player from an injury standpoint.
And that's a good pickup because he has been on the sideline, at least putting on something that makes you wonder if there is a sprain or a muscle or something going on with the back. I mean, it's kind of like them telling you Darius is walking around in a boot. We don't do that just for style, to pick up chicks. You're doing it for a reason. And so you got something going on with the back with your players. So, no, I think those are very good observations, just based on what they're doing on the sideline.
Every year, once a year, I make one of them, and that's my one for the year, early in March. Speaking of March Madness coming here shortly. We can talk about that and more. Hour 2 of the Morning Rush, Hot Take Monday, rolls on next.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Once people tried Taco Bell's new Luxe Value Menu with 10 decadent items, all $3 or less, including the new mini taco salad, an edible bowl filled with succulent seasoned beef and dressed with a lavish chipotle crema, they started expecting everything to be as luxe. You're wondering which is the mini taco salad for, aren't you? Taco Bell's new Luxe Value Menu. 10 extravagant indulgences, all $3 or less.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for, only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH25 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Well, the game might be over, but the night usually isn't. You're still hanging out, still scrolling, still looking for something fun to do. That's usually where I end up on my bookie. I'll go from sports straight into the casino. Same account, same balance. What I like is it never feels quiet. There's always something happening. Cash drops, tournaments, live dealers. So you're not just playing, you're part of the action. Head to mybookie.ag now and use promo code HOGS, and you'll get a 300% deposit match up to $750, which gives you plenty to play with. Game night, late night, everything in between. MyBookie's always on.
Dad, the driver looks dirty. You yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got trophies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Once people tried Taco Bell's new Lux value menu with 10 decadent items, all $3 less, including the new mini taco salad, an edible bowl filled with succulent seasoned beef and dressed with a lavish chipotle crema, they started expecting everything to be as Lux. You're wondering which is the mini taco salad for, aren't you? Taco Bell's new Lux value menu, 10 extravagant indulgences, all $3 or less.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 7
years. The superior light beer for the social athlete.
Brazil with a rebound. Outlet to Acuff. Ahead to Thomas to the rim. Malik lays it in. Already the speed and quickness of Arkansas on display. Darius drives the right side behind the back of the elbow. Step back. Two on the way, and it's good. Now Thomas steals the ball. Nick with a steal ahead to Richmond and Philly where they hard one-handed jam. They're making 63-40. Wow, Billy threw that one down, didn't he?
It's teed up, Taco. They teed them both up. We are told both coaches got teed up.
That wasn't my team. Sometimes this happens. You miss 12, 15 layups, like maybe in the first half. You have a chance to keep it close. I think we shot 40% from the line. Their will was stronger than our will. And they were big, and they were good. They were better than us.
Florida wins it 111-77.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Produced by Colton Woodman with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft. This is the Morning Rush.
I forget what game it was where John Calipari was talking about the ability to be able to dump it down the post. It actually might have been last year when he was talking about how important that is in games. Well, you saw it on display. Unfortunately, it was for the other team, the Florida Gators, who dominated you 111-77 Saturday night in Gainesville. I thought kind of leading up to the game, Tommy, you had the Darius Acuff kind of player profile. You had the little kid that made a trip with his family, calling the Hogs. I was excited that morning, listening and watching College Game Day leading up. Just the excitement quickly left me following that game Saturday night.
Yeah, you kind of held your own for first 7 or 8 minutes of the game, and then Florida went on that run in the mid-first half, and you never caught your balance again. You stumbled there, and it never returned. So, I mean, that was that was the beginning of the end, I guess, so to speak. But you were really competitive for about 7 or 8 minutes, I'd say, and then from then on. I mean, the game really started out on the wrong foot, the wrong tone. Brazil gets a dumb foul. You could call it ticky-tack. I don't know. It was inside. He was holding somebody was the call. But you're 30 seconds into the game, and one of your most important players who can't get in foul trouble does what? Gets an early dumb foul that you don't need. And it just kind of went sideways from there.
Yeah, you start on that 4-0 nothing lead, and then you get an 8-0 run, and I think Arkansas's up 5, and then, like you said, the Gators just kind of started chomping, and you didn't fend off or fight back whatsoever, and it turned into a bloodbath relatively quick. And that's a team that, again, they don't have a lot of holes. They can shoot the ball from the outside. They've got a strong, powerful front core, as we saw first hand, I should say. I had wondered about Boogie Flan. We can get to the kind of context of that story coming up in a bit. He had a solid game for the Gators. So you look up and down, I mean, 7 guys in double figures, just not a lot of areas where Florida lacked on Saturday night.
Well, March Madness isn't only for the SEC and the power conferences. The Great American Conference in Division II is coming to Fort Smith this week. They have set their brackets. You can find them on Facebook or online at greatamericanconference.com. Find them on their social media channels. Basketball begins this Thursday at Fort Smith Northside. You can get your tickets for this Division II basketball tournament, the Great American Conference, at greatamericanconference.com. Ty, they had probably the best crowds they've had in the history of their league last year at Fort Smith Southside. They want to one-up that again this year. And again, play begins Thursday. Championship games are set for Sunday at Fort Smith Northside. The Fort Smith's a great spot for the Great American Conference, which has 6 schools in Oklahoma, 6 schools in Arkansas. Fort Smith's right in the middle, and they're going to have kind of a war on the border here to battle it out for the automatic to the NCAA Division II tournament for both men and women. So the men's and the women's tournament all together at Fort Smith Northside. It all begins this Thursday. Again, get your tickets now. Great American Conference tournament at greatamericanconference.com. That's greatamericanconference.com.
I don't know if your algorithm has done the same thing mine has, but as of yesterday, I have been getting fed over and over various videos from March Madness. And really Saturday, when you look at the caliber of competition, the games didn't necessarily live up to the hype. There were 5 top 25 matchups, and really none of them were close. I mean, Arizona dogged Kansas by 23. Duke piled on Virginia. Texas Tech got a big upset win on the road in Ames. St. Mary's, I know they weren't ranked, but they beat Gonzaga. Florida trounced Arkansas. The only really good game Saturday between ranked teams was Alabama and Tennessee, where Phylon hit a late jumper, and Tennessee wasn't able to score at the end. But as of Saturday, and I know it's technically still February 28th, it felt like March a little bit, at least based on the matchups you got, not necessarily the conclusions of the games.
Yeah, so looking forward to seeing how this week plays out. Big night tomorrow night in the SEC. The benefit for going into the Texas game, you know exactly what you need to do based on the way Missouri plays, the way Tennessee and Kentucky and those that are kind of around you in the SEC standings, you'll know what you need. It's kind of like watching your golf opponent. You know whether you need par or whether a bogey will tie, or you got to have a birdie to win. So you kind of know going into at least Wednesday night where you stand.
And as we sit here this morning on a Hot Take Monday, Gators have won and clinched a piece of the regular season title. Probably going to win the whole thing outright unless something weird happens this week. Alabama is at 12-4 right at.
Well, there's no way for them not to have at least a share.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying. They want a share, and they'll probably clinch it outright by themselves. Alabama at 12-4, Arkansas sitting right behind at 11-5, Missouri, Kentucky, and Tennessee all at 10-6. You've got the tiebreaker over both the Tigers and the Vols, but that could shake up depending on how this game goes in Columbia this weekend. Texas not far behind at 9-7. And same with Vanderbilt and Texas A&M. So you mentioned scoreboard watching on Saturday night. I haven't done a lot of what has to shake out in the standings. But now that we're in March and these last 2 games are going to dictate where Arkansas is in Nashville, I'm definitely paying attention where things shake out this week.
Yeah, and Arkansas only dropped 1 spot in the rankings from Saturday's game. I was looking at those earlier. Florida moved up a couple of spots, so you're still in good standing there. You're ahead of Tennessee and you're behind Vanderbilt and Alabama, but you're ahead of Tennessee at this point. So you're kind of 4th in the league in net ranking for whatever that's worth. So you still got a lot to play for from a national seeding standpoint. Just go ahead and take care of the game on Wednesday, and then I think you're kind of on house money going to Columbia on Saturday.
Hog Wild and Van Buren bring it up, and I wanted to talk about this at some point this morning. An important text on the MVP of this weekend. Any idea who that is, Tommy?
The MVP of the weekend?
Mm-hmm.
No, lay it on me.
That would be Chuck Barrett, who did the show or did the game Saturday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 our time, and then turned around, and did a baseball game at 11 a.m. the next day, and he had to go on at 10:30. So think about what time he probably got home. I would guess, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning? Woke up and did the baseball game the next day because Phil had basketball duty, women's basketball.
Stud.
How lucky are we to have Chuck?
And he could have said no.
Yeah. How lucky are we to have Chuck fill in whenever
he
our
could
guy
have said
fills
no,
in?
but he didn't. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad Phil was there for their lone SEC regular season win for the ladies. Sometimes I wish he would do baseball at this point in the year and someone else could do the women's basketball game, but that's the sport they keep him with, and I'm glad he was there at least to see them win because he has endured a long, hard season with the women's basketball team for sure.
Yeah, I know it's been tough on Kelsey Music and the players as well, and Phil having to call some of these blowouts, like you said, nice to see them get a win this weekend. So after Saturday night, I saw this, and it is a hot take Monday. This is not my hot take, but I got a few texts from Morning Rush listeners that said, well, Darius might have just lost the Player of the Year. Now, again, that award is a body of work over the course of an SEC season. It's going to be announced sometime next week, either in the midst of Wednesday night or leading up to the tournament. But, I mean, Houck had 22. Philon hit a game winner. I know Darius, these last few games, hasn't shot the ball that well, kind of hovering right above 30%. And I just wonder, like, is that ankle starting to bother him a little bit more? Is that something that needs to be read into and looked into a little more? That I know the goal of this season is not for him to just win the SEC Player of the Year, but I kind of thought he had it locked up. I don't know if I necessarily feel as strong about that here in this final week of the regular season.
Let's also not forget that Florida's put a pretty good defense. As good as Florida was offensively with 111 points, Florida's defense was outstanding in that game. May have been the better of the two in reality. So before we, want to lay too much on that ankle, let's also give Florida some credit for the way they played with against Acuff. I don't think if he was at a point where he wouldn't go as many minutes as he's been going, and he needs to go, has to go for this team if this thing was severe. But there's definitely an issue. It's definitely tweaked. They're definitely probably spending a lot of time on him during the week, and I don't imagine he's practicing at all. So it's really important that he heals that thing up as much as he can between games, and that's why they're keeping him in that boot as much as possible, it sounds like.
Yeah, and so Arkansas, Cal touched on this after the game. Darius missed some close shots at the rim, and it's difficult. I mean, when you have guys that are right around 7 feet and there might be two of them in the lane, those shots are a lot more difficult than, let's say, you going up against a smaller team like Texas A&M and others. But collectively, Arkansas just did not shoot the ball. And you still had, 40-plus in the paint, I think, in this game. I think they outscored you in the paint by 12 points. But Cal touched on them just kind of missing close shots outside of, I guess, Billy Richmond on Saturday night.
We were going at him. You saw how we started the game. We were saying, Billy, you're going to be driving the ball a lot today. And he did. But you can't have one or two guys when you're playing this kind of team. You got to have everybody. If you're avoiding their contact, you can't play in this game. And we had a bunch of guys try to go sideways and then come back and back and back. You can't play that way. Your head got to be down. You got to be into their body. And you got to, in the second half, we did some of it. But you're down 25. It's playing for nothing.
I'll tell you what I thought about, and we've gotten some text here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline advocating to sit out Darius Acuff these next two games prior to the SEC tournament. I don't think that's the wise decision. I'll tell you what might be smart is to continue to call plays for Billy and take some of the weight and pressure off Darius Acuff leading into March and leading into not just Nashville, but the NCAA tournament. He has another 20-plus point performance, and he didn't even take 20 shots to get it, 9 of 17. I think in all, I'd have to go back and double-check, Tommy, but I think in all these 20-point performances he's had, he's been over 50% in every one of them. He's looks completely healthy. He's been just absolutely balling out there. I am using more of him moving forward, especially this week, to kind of take some weight off Darius Acuff prior to the SEC tournament.
And, where do you find it on the bench right now?
Yeah.
You mentioned Sealy, and 7 minutes, was it, the other night that he got? Florida wouldn't empty their bench, so you couldn't really put a lot of other guys in that never seemed to play. This was a 30-plus point game that would have made sense to empty the bench. I don't know if Arkansas had, if Florida would have followed suit. Oftentimes that's what coaches will do. Once the other team empties their bench, they will. But you've got to have some other guys, like you said, step up. And the question is, will Carter Knox be back this year? Will you see him even, at a point in the NCAA tournament with that knee? I don't think I'd risk it this week, particularly if you can win on Wednesday. There's no sense in playing him. I don't think you're going to see him till the NCAA tournament at the earliest.
Hold on. Oh, you're talking about Carter. You said Darius for a second. My mind went somewhere else. Okay. Yeah,
No.
I'm with you. I think Carter, again.
No, I'm talking about finding the relief for him. Yeah. So finding the relief, I'm scratching my head.
Yeah, he's played Isaiah in some games this season. I just don't know, and he might play him a little bit this week, but when it comes to games in Nashville next week or the following games wherever Arkansas gets sent for the NCAA tournament, I just don't know how much you're going to play him into. Your like you're saying, like where are you going to find the relief and whatnot? I don't know. I just know any time that you get scored from anyone else outside of Darius Acup, that's good. So it just is less usage of him moving forward because I think it's clear, and hopefully he picks it up. I would think that he's going to want to put on a show Wednesday night in what everyone presumes to be his final game inside of Bud Walton Arena. His final home game is an Arkansas Razorback, and then the last game comes Saturday. But I think for him as a freshman, you have to know, and I'm not saying take plays off, take days off, stuff like that, but you have to know that as important as these games are this week, the important games begin in 2 weeks from Thursday. That's what matters. And Arkansas is not going anywhere without him having stellar performances. When you go up against some of the elite competition, you will see really starting in the round of 32. Now, you might not get a tough mid-major and whatnot, but I just can't see them moving on, Tommy, when Darius has like a 6 of 19 performance. I just can't fathom that, at least once they start playing that second game in the NCAA tournament.
I'd agree, and again, it's going to come down to matchups. I think Darius is still. I mean, do you think there's a team you're going to play at any point? It's going to keep him under 15. I mean, he had 17 the other night and clearly isn't healthy. I don't know how much healthier he's going to be, but this is a guy that I think is going to get you 15 every night, regardless of how bad he feels, how tough that ankle is, how good the defender across from him. As long as he can push and explode and go to the rim. He's going to get you 15, and more importantly, he's going to get you 5 or 6 assists on maybe an off night. So I think, I just really don't see him. There's a lot of players you'd love to have 15. He has 15, and we wonder what's wrong. That's how good he is.
Yeah, and you heard Florida's student section chanting overrated when he was on the free throw line or sometimes when he had the ball. Darius Acuff is properly rated as an SEC Player of the Year candidate and potentially the winner and one of the best point guards in college basketball. What I would counter with is Arkansas is properly rated too. Like that, you walked into a place, and you could say Florida's underrated. I think they were number 7 in the country heading into that game. They didn't lose in February, if I remember. Yeah, because the Auburn loss, I think, came in January. And you mentioned them losing Missouri at the first game of the conference play earlier this season. And they played some really, really good basketball teams in February, like Alabama, and going on the road in College Station and winning at Texas and stuff like that. So you're just on different levels. It's a different weight class. And unfortunately, it showcased itself on Saturday night.
Yeah, and you've got to find a way. Again, if you can find just some minutes for some guys here and there down this stretch. But a win on Wednesday gives you a lot of breathing room for Saturday. And again, you go into Wednesday, Ty, knowing exactly what the rest of the league has done. I don't know if that alters the game plan, changes how you would maybe put some guys in the game. But what we don't have is, how is Pringle? And you mentioned seeing him on the sideline, with some kind of wrap on his back. I haven't seen that. Is it a brace? Is it a wrap? I mean, I haven't seen that myself. But
go ahead.
I'm asking because I just want you to describe it for me.
It's like it's not the ab exercise. It's something for the back. I don't know what the proper term, the actual brand is, but someone pointed that out to me, and I'd seen him wear it this season on the sidelines. That just is, and I watched some highlights of his this weekend in Columbia and Tuscaloosa, and there's just a clear, stark difference of the player he was at those places versus the players that now. And maybe I'm insinuating too much, but I think it's a common sense thing. Maybe I'm off. I'm off on a lot of things, but that's just kind of where I stand on what maybe he's dealing with.
I think you're on to something here. Based on the things I've been told and heard, I think there is something that's a little bit off. I certainly believe that. Hey, with March Madness just around the corner, the Oakland Sports app is the only phone. The Oakland Sports app, new customers get up to $1,000 in bonus bets when they sign up. You're automatically enrolled. You don't have to check an extra box or fill out an extra form or do anything. It's right there for you. Each of your first 10 days, if your first bet doesn't work out, they're going to give you a bonus bet up to $100 per day for 10 days. For $1,000 in bonus bets. And funding and withdrawing from your account has never been easier. Debit and credit cards, ACH, PayPal, Venmo, cash on site. If you're going to the horse races, you can slip in there and give them a few hundred and put in your account or whatever. It's all real easy with the Oakland Sports app. So bet with a brand you trust anywhere in Arkansas. Bet with Oakland Sports.
All right, so what's on the docket in D.C. these next few days?
Got meetings beginning today with the National Association of Broadcasters. I came up a day or two early to do a few things, but Senator Bozeman's office was kind enough to get me a private or get on the list to do a tour. You can't just publicly sign up for that at the White House, so appreciate their staff getting that done today. I'm going to meet with Senator Bozeman over at his office, then tour the Capitol, and then 4 o'clock today, we've got our first state leadership conference meeting. So a lot of the sightseeing's done, and time to get down to business here today.
All right. Well, there's some try and have some fun there.
Capitol Hill, going to Capitol Hill today. So
okay. Well, try and have some fun in the midst of the work stuff. Okay. I don't know if you have time.
Went to the
going to Smithsonian or anything like that. Any sightseeing?
I've been to two of the Smithsonian. I wanted to mention that. I've been to the Smithsonian, went to the one on natural history, which got a lot of dinosaur bones and a lot of mammals and a lot of that kind of stuff. Been there. Went to the history yesterday. History stuff from the 1700s. You walk in there and you can see where it is. The neatest thing was the American flag.
Hey, Tommy, we can't.
That you saw that was over Fort McHenry.
We gotta cut you off just for a second because we couldn't hear you. One thing, if you get a chance, before we talk to Brian, one thing, if you get a chance, one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in person is the changing of the guard at the Marine Corps War Memorial at the Iwo Jima.
Too many unknown soldiers.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to think how old I was. I was 8 or 9 when my father took my brother and I out there. And I just remember the intensity. It's not often like something's intense when you're sightseeing and seeing relics or various things, U.S. Constitution or what, Declaration of Independence, whatever, stuff like that. But that was one of the most significant things I have ever seen in person. And it's in Arlington. I don't know if you have time to go do that, but would highly recommend if you do so. Let's talk to Brian this morning here in the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Go ahead, Brian.
What's going on, man?
What's up?
Not much. I just wanted to ask you about your baseball team. I mean, I think you're kind of lucky you don't have to play the top 2 teams, LSU and Texas, obviously. But what's up with their batting? I mean, I get they won Sunday, but Sundays usually don't mean much anyways. I'm just kind of concerned it's not an Arkansas regular batting team because they're struggling pretty much every game they play. They're going to get, with the exception of Oklahoma State. I mean, is that a concern for you guys?
I think it is, yeah. I mean, they picked it up in games 2 and 3, which was encouraging to see. I don't think this is going to be as prolific as a batting order or lineup that maybe Dave's had in the past. But we're also, slightly double-digit games in?
10 or 11 games,
yeah. I think, I don't know if you're sounding the alarm, but you're at least raising your eyebrows at what you've been hitting the baseball thus far.
I think it's okay to question things. Like I mentioned earlier, if there was a whole bunch of strikeouts that we've seen recently, like there was on Friday and like there was against Arkansas State last week in the midweek, there is reason to be concerned because it means that you're not adjusting to the approach from what you're seeing at the plate. And that's been one of the things that people have hammered on Nate Thompson for a long time is that our hitters don't seem to be changing their approach from time to time, but I'm not too concerned about it. One thing is for sure, if we did play Texas, they'd probably come in here and get their ass beat, just like they did.
I can tell I can tell you the how genuinely concerned you are about this baseball team. I can tell how sincere that is about a team that took 2 or 3 and is yet to lose a non-conference weekend. I can't remember the statistic that it was. It was maybe 35 straight, 34.
When they got shut out last week, it's the first time they'd been shut out since 2024. Okay, so this is a good baseball program. Brian, kick rocks.
Tommy, you back?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Who do we
I think
blame?
I got tuned in time to hear maybe the dumbest thing Brian has ever said. Because I believe I heard him say Sundays don't mean much in college baseball.
Which decides, in this case,
I mean,
the
Sundays
series.
are what the hell are you talking about, Brian? You're either going to sweep the series, you're going to win your one game of the series, or you're going to win Sunday's everything a lot of times. I understand Friday nights you got your ace place, but to say Sundays don't mean anything, that might be the dumbest thing. He said a lot of dumb stuff.
Most of it.
A lot of dumb stuff. That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard Brian say.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's his brain short-circuited there talking about Arkansas baseball, but I won't be able to tell.
Be a better troll.
So. Yeah. If you're looking to take on bigger jobs and get more done, something you need to hear about. WT Equipment has the Hotline 300 series compact track loaders built to handle whatever the job site throws your way. Got outstanding operator comfort, class-leading visibility, and best-in-class boom geometry for exceptional lift and reach. These machines range from 60 to 90 horsepower, fuel efficient, support a wide variety of attachments so you can tackle more jobs with just one machine. It's the new Hotline 300 series, built to work as hard as you do. Steve at WT Equipment, all of their locations across Arkansas. Find one near you at WTEquipment.com. WT Equipment, equip your future, elevate your potential.
All right, when we come back, SEC update, games this weekend, only one game Wednesday night, the standalone game with Arkansas and Texas, 6 o'clock. I thought Brian was going to ask about that. I don't think he wants to bet on that game, knowing what Arkansas has been at Bud Walton this season. Stay with us as we continue on. Hot Take Monday next.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, where the ultimate challenge is back and 600 vehicles must be sold in March.
Here's
Let's go, Taylor
Green, who crushed it.
He
on
is
the
striding
bird.
that out.
4, 3.
This is the Morning Rush.
Budweiser, the American lager. A time-honored recipe, true to our original process, brewed using the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, delivering great quality beer since 1876. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Take your tax refund the extra mile with a road-ready certified pre-owned vehicle at Rath Auto Resources. We've been working around the clock to beef up our inventory, and we're proud to say this is our best, largest selection of road-ready certified pre-owned vehicles ever. With so many to choose from, price to sell, and back-to-back comprehensive warranty, there's no reason to settle for less. Come see why your friends and neighbors voted us the River Valley's #1 pre-owned car dealer, and see why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Dad, the driver looks dirty. Ew, yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Founded in 1950, Crabtree RV Center has grown into one of the River Valley's largest RV dealerships, proudly serving Northwest Arkansas, specializing in sales, parts, and service. We're truly your one-stop shop for all your RV needs. Conveniently located with easy access to I-40 and I-49, we're 40 minutes from Northwest Arkansas and just as close to our friends in Oklahoma, carrying top brands like Grand Design, Coachman, East to West, and Forest River. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
What's new at the Golf Nut in 2026? A lot. New tailor-made ID4 woods, hybrids, and irons are in stock January 29th. The all-new Ping G440K driver and Ping S259 wedges also arrive January 29th. And coming soon, Callaway Quantum Woods and Hybrids February 13th, with irons landing February 27th. Step inside our newly remodeled retail space, check out the simulation bays, and experience our new fitting and lesson bay featuring 3 high-speed cameras filming at 120 frames per second. The Golf Nut, where your best game starts.
It's tournament time when the most talented teams survive and advance. And whether you're cutting down the nets or cutting through resumes, one thing's clear. The best teams are built with the best people. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. Their smart matching technology finds qualified candidates fast. You can add screening questions to get the right applicants and even filter to see who's recently active. Score the best for your team with ZipRecruiter. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The SEC is the best conference in America.
The tough will survive in this game, and I feel like the SEC is the toughest.
Arkansas is the SEC champion.
You know, every game is a dogfight. We're about the toughest there is. Week in and week out, you're going to play some of the best, the biggest, the fastest.
The Hawks have finally held the first SEC tournament championship for Arkansas.
Where opponents' dreams come to die.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
Phylon spins, fades, and he won the battle. He got the switch and then was very patient with it.
That was really the only good top 25 matchup on Saturday as the Alabama Crimson Tide edged the Tennessee Volunteers by 2 in Knoxville, moving ahead of the Razorbacks at 12-4 in this league. Arkansas sitting at 11-5. 3 teams, Missouri, Kentucky, and Tennessee, all sit at 10-6. You can't have Kentucky going 2-0 this week. You got Tennessee, the edge there, so you just need to win one. And honestly, if you're going to pick a game to win, it might be better to win the game on Saturday.
Yeah.
So that Missouri, which sounds odd because I know we want to beat Texas more than anything. You hear Brian chirping, and as Tommy astutely stated, the dumbest statement we've heard, that the Sunday baseball games don't matter, which is just ludicrous. But if you're looking at where Arkansas is in the pecking order of this league right now, it would actually be better for them if they won on Saturday.
It would behoove you to win both games.
Yes.
Just to keep the confidence going, to get the juice flowing into March, into the tournament, into the big dance, as we like to call it. But yeah, Ty, if you do end up splitting these games this week, you would prefer that it be the game on Saturday because of that big, jumble up there near the top in this, I guess it's second and third place in the SEC standings. You don't want to find yourself playing on Thursday. And I'm in your camp, Ty. I think that at this point with 2 games left, it would take an 0-2 week for Arkansas and other teams to go 2-0 for you to knock yourself off of those top 4 seed lines and not play on Friday. But you do really want to make sure that you get a good opportunity this week to get back and get healthy. Short turnaround going to Missouri on Saturday. So hopefully that doesn't bode poorly for the Razorbacks. Hopefully they can get things going and stay attacking, because I thought that against Florida, their length just didn't let them attack as well as they could have.
Yeah, Bruce says, I've always heard size doesn't matter. Sure look like it matters.
Speaking of Bruce, and that's a different Bruce, man, I was really hoping his Vols would. I picked Alabama to win, and I thought that, they didn't lead until the very final, that last bucket right there by Phylon. They had no leads until then, so they went in there and stole one in Knoxville this week.
Let's see. As far as SEC competition goes this weekend, we know what happened in Gainesville. Missouri won this weekend. Kentucky beat Vandy. Texas beat A&M. That was one of the surprising games. Georgia won this weekend. Oklahoma, Ole Miss won. Auburn's now like 15-14, causing Bruce Burrell to say this.
Miami, Ohio, here's the deal. Are we going to select the 68 most deserving teams, or are we going to select the 68 best teams? If we're selecting the 68 best teams, then Miami, Ohio is going to have to win their tournament to qualify as a champion. Because as an at-large, they are not one of the best teams in the country. And that's going to be a difficult choice for the committee to make.
Well, Nepo Pearl is now 15-14 after last year's team was 27-2 at this point. Yeah. and the number 1 team in the country. I know they lost Janai Broom, Cardwell. There's another player or two on that team is really good. I get all that. But they have fallen mightily. I'm talking about the Auburn Tigers. And you got Pearl obviously advocating for his son in an indirect way. Miami of Ohio has yet to lose a game this season.
Yeah, did you see their coach this
Oh,
weekend
he was
against
ticked.
Western Michigan?
He broke the
first,
D. Yeah, like
he was really heated, and he actually crossed the line right there.
Yeah.
That stuff's expensive, and if you're at your home court and you knock the speaker system over, just tell your SID guy to sign the check and fix it for the DJ. But you have to. I mean, he could have been arrested for vandalism or something like that, and I'm sure that through the channels, that'll get repaid if there was any damage. But that was a bad look for their coach, and he's a good coach, unfortunately.
I agree.
And I hope that he ends up having to wear a Speedo because he said that he would do that on College Game Day a couple weeks back if Miami ended up making the tournament. And it won't be as easy as they think. They're undefeated right now, but Akron also in the MAC is a total wagon. So that's probably going to end up the MAC championship game, and there'll be a lot of eyes on that one because if Miami goes through the season as undefeated and they don't make the tournament, going to be a bad look for the selection committee.
By the way, I should say, in the midst of our SEC update, just because of Tommy's connection, we thought it best that he didn't just leave. We just mutually decided it would be better that he did not do the rest of the show. He's got stuff. He's got stuff he needs to take care of.
Several black vans pull out of Tommy's apartment. Lots of guys in black suits, and they just whiffed him away as fast as they could. So we may hear from Tommy. We may not. He may have a different name next.
Kind of like an old school.
Yeah.
Chad Baker-Mazara, former Auburn Tigers, no longer one of the guys that is not on the team, no longer a part of USC. They announced that yesterday. It's pretty wild.
that.
If you haven't seen the video, so Mazara, he goes out. Was it an injury or did he get tossed?
I think he got tossed.
Okay,
if I'm
and
not mistaken.
he's sitting away from the team on the baseline. It's the weirdest. I guess it was the baseline. It's the weirdest thing. And they just decided yesterday. And this kid is having a pretty good season from a statistics standpoint. And Muss said, we need to part ways. And they parted ways. We wonder how that would go, that dynamic. Well, it did not make it through the season.
Well, what's funny about that? You mentioned the fall from grace that Auburn has had. When you had that fall from grace, you're obviously going to be looking in every different direction to try and get yourself back to that pinnacle of where they were as a basketball program. And so I saw that. You mentioned Chad Baker-Mazara. And a funny thing here, obviously on message boards, it's the best and the worst of us as fans in the SEC. I saw a post on Twitter this weekend that was making the rounds on the Auburn message boards. Eric Musselman, ? Bring him back to the SEC. I thought that was so funny. That's how far they've fallen. And look, maybe that personality that Muss has and Auburn would go well together, but look, he's in California. He's a Cali guy. He's never leaving. They don't care about USC basketball there. There's no scrutiny for him. He'll probably coach for 25 years there, but
that would be a
interesting.
Great hire for
Auburn.
Auburn.
Oh, my God. That'd be great for them.
I
would love it.
I would not like it because I like how Auburn's down right now, and I don't think they'd be down very long. Now, it might be a short stint, but I don't think they'd be down very long under Muss. And Hogwild asking, you think Muss is regretting going home for the USC job? I don't know how you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Now, again, it's early. We're 2 years into this thing, but Cal's on his way to his second tournament, and they didn't go last year under Muss, right? So they're 2 straight years without a tournament bid. It's like you said, I get it. For some people, California is a better place to live, and I get it's home. I understood all that. Then I'm not one to bash him out the door because I'm eternally grateful what he did for this basketball program, getting us back to where we need to be in the NCAA tournament second weekend. But yeah, I do Hogwild think he's regretted it a little bit.
Yeah.
Couple more texts. Chip and Rogers saying we need more offense from Trevin Brazil. Wholeheartedly agree.
You could probably just take the offense out of there and say we just need more from Trevin Brazil.
Overall.
Because,
and bonehead playing. He's had a couple of these throughout his career. He pushing Boogie. That's a dangerous play. It's not like I feel eternally sad or tough on Boogie or anything, but it's like, man, he could have got hurt there.
Yeah.
And I just TB, you can't do that, man.
Yeah, you don't want to see that.
You're on your 5th year of college basketball. You know better than that. And I was frustrated too. I was cursing and yelling at the television. I was listening here to Chuck and Z, and I was just as mad as everyone else. But you've got to maintain, when Arkansas's been in those, you just can't do that. Weston Springdale, watch out. Billy is playing himself into a mid-second round draft pick. Yeah, he sure is. 5 straight games with 20-plus points. you'll love to see that.
And you mentioned him earlier, Ty, about possibly running more plays for him. He's not really like an ISO guy that's going to take you because he has a deep bag off the dribble. He's going to just really, take you to the rack every time, cross you up, kind of like we see with Darius Acuff and Malik from time to time. But Jimmy Dykes mentioned this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and whoever else was on the broadcast on Saturday also mentioned it. He's the best cutter in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing, too. Tommy talked about the bench production as well. Him and Billy Richmond cutting is one of our best ways to get a bucket. DJ Wagner off the cut with his left hand is super, super efficient. So that's what you want to see from DJ and from Billy, is to continuously do that. Try and find ways to continuously stay aggressive. Obviously, against Florida, we didn't see a lot of that. You were going in there amongst the trees, and they were going to get you every single time. But as we go down the stretch, the aggressiveness from those guys, cutting off the ball, trying to get open, is going to be a huge part of our offense. And luckily, you have a guy like Darius Acuff that not only is good as a shooter and as good as a scorer, he's just as good as a passer and a playmaker.
All right, that is your SEC update this morning. We're going to give WT Equipment a second shot, considering just the connection. If you're in the landscaping business, or maybe you're managing a mowing crew, listen up. Hustler Pro Series sales event is going on right now at WT Equipment. You could save 20 or more % on Hustler mowers, plus even more savings when you're upgrading multiple units. They stock the commercial machine crews every single day for productivity, performance, and reliability from sunup to sundown. It's a limited time event, and inventory is moving fast. So if you're thinking about upgrading your fleet, it's time. Go to WT Equipment, your favorite location today, or visit WTEquip.com. That's WTEquip.com, and lock in those savings before the season starts at WT Equipment. So I'm leaving on Wednesday morning for Florida. And my lawn needs to be mowed. And I don't think I'm going to get it done before I leave. So I'm going to come back to it's that time of year, y'all, the mowing. And I actually, it's peaceful to me. Now, just full disclosure, I got a blower from my parents for a housewarming gift, and my uncle got me a weed eater. Those are rarely used. I use the mower that I bought off my buddy every day. Every week, but I have not used a lot of the weed. So my yard, I know a lot of you take pride in your yard, and deservedly so. Your yard looks like a movie yard. It looks phenomenal, fantastic, pristine. Mine looks bad. I like my house. I like to look at my house, but my yard is atrocious.
Do you have like patchy grass? Like, is it some of
patchy
that soft
weeds,
yellow?
Weeds, all this stuff. I just don't. I don't care.
You got to get a lawn
maybe
guy.
I should. Maybe I'm not at that age. So I'm a homeowner for about a year and a half. And maybe I'll get to a point where I take deep pride in how my lawn looks. But as long as it's cut, and it got overgrown at a certain point with weeds and stuff in the flower beds, and paid someone to do all that because I didn't want to break my back, and I'm lazy too. But as long as it's cut, I identify that as a fine-looking lawn.
Job well done.
Most people will say that's a bad lawn.
As long as you keep the city and the neighbors off you, that's really all that matters. To be quite honest with you, look, during the summer, whenever I had my son, there was a couple weeks before that where the lawn didn't get mowed, and definitely a couple weeks afterwards. So whenever I came back from the hospital after a couple of days, I'm walking through the yard, like wading through the Amazon rainforest. It was ankle high, and it was just littered with bugs and all types of trash and stuff like that. So I had to put a lot of good work into it. But I will say this: since I moved up to Fayetteville, the house that I stay in now, my brother-in-law is letting me stay at his place, and rent out from him. He has a lawn guy that they come like twice a month, and even throughout the winter, they come and they manicure it and they make sure that it stays good. There are no patches in this lawn, and I don't even have to mow it. So I'm very thankful for that. That's what you need, Ty. You can get out there and you can mow it yourself, but get a lawn guy to come in there and make sure it's all the same color, make sure it's all the same height, the same type of grass. What type of grass you working with, Ty? What type of grass you use?
I have
you
no idea.
Bermuda guy?
No idea.
Kentucky bluegrass, creeping Bermuda.
No clue. Again, my knowledge of my grass is
But when you say that you haven't, so you'll go out there and you'll mow, but you won't weed eat or blow any of the stuff
not
back
really,
under your...
unless it's bad.
So you just leave all the lawn clippings out in the road?
Yep.
Motorcyclists beyond Ty Richardson Street, beware. This guy's about to cause a
No,
wreck.
it's not. It's
you
not.
gotta blow that stuff back into the road. That's all that I ask of you. Be a gentleman.
I aim the trimmings and whatever the I almost said offspring. It's not offspring, whatever you call it. That I aim it back into my yard.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go.
So you're just constantly mowing over the same stuff that you've already.
Yeah, that's probably why the yard looks like bleep. I'll tell you what looks pristine is Bob Walker Stadium, and the staff there does a great job. Arkansas takes 2 of 3 this weekend. unlike what Brian and Ozark said earlier, the Sunday game was very important, which Arkansas run ruled. How about Hunter Dietz, though, in game 2?
Yeah, the 1-2. He struck him out swinging. Hunter Dietz has shut out UTA through 4 innings.
As far as pitching goes, Gackle didn't have his best out. He did enough for them to win.
Yes,
hitting just didn't.
He's really good with traffic on the bases.
Yeah, hitting just didn't wake up. Dietz had a really good outing in game number 2, 7 shutout innings. Colin Fisher apparently didn't have his best stuff, but still went 6 shutout innings. You saw another Batesville connection like Gage Wood and that Brissy kid that came in this weekend.
I like him.
What else is that I jot down? I'll tell you what I like about this baseball team, and this is kind of a more on a lighter note. When they do the home run celebration, when someone goes yard in a game and the bat boy gets to be involved, there is such a soft, sentimental moment in my heart. And I didn't grow up playing baseball, but I just think that's one of the coolest things. You see like Cam Kojal, Kahio Aloy, Ryder Helfrich, whoever else hits a bomb, Zach Stewart, and they all huddle up together. And then you see a kid that's like 2 feet smaller than them, and he jumps in together. I just think that's so cool.
You know what it is, Todd. The story has already been written. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait till that kid's a freshman in college for him to lead us to that championship we've been waiting for so long. That's what it's going to take. It's going to be that storybook. But you're right. That camaraderie between this baseball team, as long as VVH has been there, I don't think that's something that's ever been questioned. He recruits guys that are good character players, and you see that every single weekend, even when they lose. This baseball team, it's obviously very, very easy to write the season off right now. It's also, it probably behoove everybody to just give them a break. Like I've heard, Troy Eklund said it already, Brett Dolan, Phil, Bubba, all these guys that know and watch tons of baseball. Hitting is always behind pitching early, and you should be very, very assured knowing that your pitching has been really solid up to this point for the most part.
I'll tell you whose hitting isn't behind. That's Camden Kojal.
No,
here's the 2-1. Atwood swung on, sky to center, hit well. Going back is McAfee at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Camden Kojal with his second home run in as many days, and the Razorbacks lead it 3-0.
Guys hitting 381. I shorted him 10 percentage points. 381 thus far. I feel like every weekend I'm talking about a multi-home run weekend, and that was the case once again in Bob Walker Stadium. He became a crowd favorite, a fan favorite last season. The fishing, hunting stuff, and just feels like him. And now, was he come over from Creighton?
No, so he was the transfer from Vanderbilt.
That's right. That's right.
He's from Nebraska.
Yeah, it was the Omaha connection what I was thinking of, but he has been really good for them this season. Kind of been one of the holdovers from last year's team, and so just what he's done thus far, and especially in a lot of that hasn't been great hitting. It's nice to see his consistency for the majority of the season. All right, we've got to hit a break. Before we do, got to tell you about Gaston's White River Resort. Tommy's gone, so I'm going to do my best. When it comes to great trout fishing, you're going to find no better place than Gaston's White River Resort. Go to Gastons.com. Clint, Jacob, their entire team over there, they'd love to help you out. 870-431-5202. Also go to their Facebook page. They do a phenomenal job updating photos, videos, what's going on at the restaurant. Their restaurant food is fantastic. And you've got these private cabins, so you can obviously talk with people at the restaurant or when you see them walking by or whatever. You kind of want to stick to yourself. You can do that as well at Gaston's White River Resort. 870-431-5202. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, where the ultimate challenge is back and 600 vehicles must be sold in March.
And Jokic and Jalen Williams do battle.
This is the Morning Rush.
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Hey Razorback fans, Matt Jones here. We're all experiencing higher prices on just about everything, and that includes sunrooms, patio covers, and windows. If you've gotten an estimate on any of these projects and you were shocked by the price, then you need to call Sawyers. They've been making quality, affordable products for 35 years. They're local, they have 100% financing, and a beautiful showroom with all their products displayed. So give my buddy Buzz a call or check them out, sawyers-sunrooms.com.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Designed by Jason Christie, the Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait doesn't just bring the fight, it dominates. Choose from 3 blade options: Colorado for maximum thump, Willow for bright flash, and the one the pros won't talk about, the Oklahoma blade. Perfectly balanced for subtle vibration, multiple flash points, and unmatched versatility. The Oklahoma blade is your secret weapon for pressured waters. Precision engineering, tournament proven, and one mission: dominate. Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait, here for one thing.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
COP CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050. COP CDL Academy.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, where the ultimate challenge is back and 600 vehicles must be sold in March.
And Jokic hits the deck. He doesn't like it. Gets in the face of Shark. Jalen Williams comes in, and Jokic and Jalen Williams do battle. Now the coaches come in along with some teammates to break things up. Jokic and Jalen Williams face to face right now.
That was quite an interaction between Jalen Williams and Nikola Jokic Friday night, where the Thunder won in overtime, 127-21. 121 felt like a playoff game. If you haven't watched the back and forth between those two, it's very entertaining. And there's history there, playoff history and whatnot. Jalen actually did a really good job on him in the playoffs at points this last season, and I would guess that Jokic didn't take too kindly to that. It was Dortch, that was kind of a dirty play. Yeah, that was whatever. And that happens. Like Jokic, he's got some cheap shots at his expense, but hey, props to Jalen for coming to the defense of a teammate.
One thing I learned is that Serbian toughness is legit, okay, watching Jokic play, but there's something about them boys from Northside High School in Fort Smith that you just don't want to mess with. Jalen and Isaiah Joe both in there mixing it up, and that was extremely entertaining to watch, let me tell you. That was fun.
Yes, it was. Thunder win again. You had 3 Razorbacks in action yesterday.
I think I saw where Jalen Williams was the first Thunder center to record 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in the game. And he's been getting really a lot better in the league, and he's going to be there for a long time, hopefully in OKC.
Incredible last weekend, no doubt about it. So back to what happened in Gainesville this weekend. Here's Cal in the locker room after the game.
My comments after the game were, we had a great February, guys. Unbelievable February. You know what? Hiccup, not my team. Some of you got to look in the mirror.
And so how are they going to utilize what happened on Saturday night and help them the rest of the way? I don't expect them to lose Wednesday night. I expect them to bounce back. But you saw what type of teams potentially you'll play in March. If you're talking about getting to the Final Four, getting to the national championship, it's going to be extremely difficult. You won't play a front court like this the rest of the season, but you might play Florida unless you play Florida again in the SEC tournament. Arkansas currently sits at third in the SEC. Alabama's right above you. You got 3 teams directly behind you, so you're still in a good spot. You'd love to go at least 1-1 this week, if not 2-0. We'll see how it shakes out. All right, that's going to do it for us here on a Hot Take Monday. Appreciate Colton. Appreciate Tommy. Appreciate you listening as well. Coming up, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Big C on halftime, followed by Ruskin and Zach. For those guys, I'm Ty. Have a great rest of your Monday. Arkansas back in action Wednesday night against Texas.
Taco Bell's new Lutz Value Menu has 10 extravagant indulgences, all $3 or less. As their official